the one summation as n goes from 1 to infinity, 2 to the n times square root of n plus 1 over n factorial. So immediately I see a factorial. So which test is good to try to get rid of factorials? The ratio test. Okay. So limit as n goes to infinity, a sub n plus 1 divided by a sub n. Got to be careful, there's some parentheses over here. So a sub n plus 1, where there's an n, replace it with an n plus 1. And divide by a sub n is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so I wrote it a little, I reordered terms here. So a sub n plus 1 would be this 2 to n plus 1, n plus 1 plus 1 under the square root, and this n plus 1 factorial under the square root. Yeah? And then a sub n, you gotta flip the terms around. So 1 over 2 to the n is right here. And then it'll be a square root of n factorial on top right here, and square root of n plus 1 on the bottom. Okay? So now let's start simplifying. These, you can subtract the powers. So you get 2 to the first power. So that's 2. Bring it out in front. That's a constant. Okay. And then by properties of exponents or properties of radicals, do the same thing. I can combine all these radicals together into one big one right here. Okay. Why do I want to do this? Well, this helps clean things up. So it helps me see things better. So for example, I can now simplify this n plus 1 factorial with this n factorial on top. It becomes n plus 1 on the bottom. Okay. Now, as we take the limit as n goes to infinity, this will be 0. Okay. You can take, since this is continuous, when as n keeps getting bigger, and we're only interested in n is 1 to infinity, really. So there's no domain restriction for n is 1 and pot numbers greater than 1, right? So it's continuous. So we can take the limit of inside first, which would be 0, and then take the square root of that result, which is still 0. Okay? That's properties of limits, if you remember. Okay, so 2 times 0 is 0, so this limit is 0. So what does the ratio test say? Since 0 is less than 1, this series absolutely converges, which also means it converges.